Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. Here we are again on a Monday morning. Morning for you guys in the US and afternoon here in the UK. Hope everyone's doing really well. My name is Anthea Morphetis, and this is my co-host,
Dr. Christina Winsey, and we're so happy to be with you.
As always, we love showing up. We love giving you some little bit of inspiration for your day and for your week and for your months and for your years, because you can watch this at any time. And that's the great part about doing this, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent.
So we are doing another in our series of on wealth. And so what we really want to talk about is exactly what we said in the title is, are you being consistent, changing your thought process, and are affirmations enough? And, you know, Anthea, you're kind of the queen of affirmations. But I know you know that there's a lot more to it than just saying an affirmation. But the first thing that we had agreed we wanted to talk about was awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And so being really aware of what you're thinking on a regular basis.
Isn't that just important? I mean, look, so many of us walk around and just have these thoughts and not really think nothing of them, and don't realize the power behind what you're thinking, because our thoughts have an emotional response to them, and it's our emotions that vibrate and bring back they align that energy to come back to us. So a lot of people wonder, why me? Why is this going wrong? Or why is this happening? And they don't realize that actually it's their thoughts that are kicking that off in the first place, because then they have an emotional response to their thought process and actually not aware of that. So one of the key things, as Dr. Christina just said, like, it's awareness. It's being super aware of, what are you thinking about? Do you stop and think throughout your day? Like, what am I thinking about? Where is my focus at? You know, you could be going along and then all of a sudden someone upsets you and you end up speaking about it like all day, and then the next few days become quite a disaster as such, and you don't know why, but it's because of where your focus is and because your thoughts. And we all know, and I'm sure it's happened to you guys, where something's happened and that thought process goes over and over and over in your head, and you think you can't stop that, but actually you can, because you can do things to distract that and to actually focus elsewhere. It does take time, but you can make that difference in yourself. And as I think being super aware of your thoughts is so key to making a difference in your everyday life, right?
I believe that people don't believe they have the choice.
Yeah.
I don't just believe it. I know people just think they're the victim of their mind and of their thoughts. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy. I have my days when I have to continually say to myself, this is not what I need to be thinking of. I need to be focusing over here. And so it's really it's being actively participating in controlling your mind. Yes. And if you don't, it will become what we call a monkey mind. It will just run the show. And it will
take over.
Yeah, it will take over. The point of affirmations, in my opinion, is to help you bridge that gap. It is very important to argue with yourself for your good, not for your bad.
Not for your limitations, right?
Exactly. So with affirmations, you are shifting the energy and starting to convince yourself of something else. Now, if affirmations bring up for you, I don't believe it, it's this isn't true, then that's an indication of some hidden belief of unworthiness, not good enough, impossible. And so what I tell people, and you know, we've talked about this before, is how about saying, I'm in the process of, or I'm on my way to, so that
I love that.
Yes, so you don't have so much resistance coming up.
Yes.
And you're able to then accept the affirmation and be in the process of changing your thoughts, so that they don't, you know, you don't have this big resistance, and then you can work on the belief system that is holding you back.
Yeah,
Make
I
sense?
totally agree. That makes absolute sense, because look, so many people, you've heard it, we've all heard it. Oh, the affirmations don't work. And it's not about whether it works or it doesn't work in that sense. It's if it works for you, because like you said, sometimes you can say something that you just don't believe. So if you just don't believe it, then to say it to yourself is actually counteractive to what you're trying to do. So if you can soothe that, and bring that affirmation to a point of what you do believe by saying, I'm becoming, or I'm in the process of something. That is the key thing, Christina, what you just said there. I think that is the biggest part of it. So if people can take an affirmation and actually use it in a slower process to say, look, this is what I'm, you know, if you're going to go and start become an accountant, let's say, you're not just all of a sudden a successful superstar accountant. You're becoming an accountant. And now when you first start, and the first bit of paper you pick up to go and read about accountancy, you're not going to be, when you say I'm an accountant and you affirm that to yourself, you're going to be like, you won't believe it yet, because you know that you're not that accountant just yet. But if you say to yourself, I'm actively preparing and studying towards being an accountant, then, and you're saying that to you, then every day you will get up and you will do something towards becoming an accountant, because you're actively saying that to yourself, right? So you are in the process of becoming, and that stands for anything, right? And we would also wanted to touch on the fact of focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want, because I think we just said it at the beginning, right? How many times we end up focusing on the wrong things. And you had clearly stated at the beginning, Dr. Christina, how you stop and you think to yourself that, first of all, that awareness, and you say, oh, I really need to be focusing on this. Is this really what I need to be thinking about right now? And remember, focus is just thinking. It's even imagining, it's even, you know, visualizing, it's having that image in your mind. It's just putting your attention onto something is focus. So, you know, so many things that happen around the world, and people focus on all the bad that's happening and then get this momentum going, and they draw it into their life, and they don't understand why things are kind of going wrong in their life. Not that anything is ever going wrong. I don't believe that anything's going wrong. It's just a matter of switching a focus again. But actually, if you can really stop and think about what you're thinking about, and use the affirmations along the way, and actually switch that over to being able to focus on things that you do want and what you can actively do to make those things happen. Because again, another problem that I find that is, people will not believe what they're doing, or they will just think they just need to think about it and then it appears. And this is like the thing with the law of attraction, where people think, oh, I just have to think about that and it just happens. No, there must be action. That's why it's the law of attraction, end word being action. You must take that action towards what you want. Otherwise, you know, it's just not going to become. Yes. If you're hungry and you want some dinner, you can think about your dinner, and someone, yes, can actually appear and just bring a takeaway to you, let's say, and say, oh, here's some dinner. You think, oh, I was just thinking about that and it appeared. But unless you actually eat it and take that action, you're just going to be looking at it. So, right?
Oh my gosh. And you have to give yourself reasons why it can happen. I mean, right. If you're in school to become an accountant, every test that you take, every class that you finish is a step in the direction. And so it's interesting to me how people will have patience for that, but not patience for the other things that they're trying to achieve, that they want. And they think, well, I changed my thoughts today. Why isn't it manifesting right now? And, you know, you even said something earlier when we were meeting and talking about what we were going to speak on today. And you said, Dr. Joe Vitale said, an overnight success was 20 years in the making. And so, you know, you have to really understand that for years, you have been infiltrated with negative thought. For years, you have been focusing on what you don't want. And to expect that just like that, when you focus on what you want, all of a sudden you'll be successful and wealthy in one day, 1 week, 1 month. You know, miracles do happen. And in general, there is a shift of vibration that takes consistency. And that's the whole point of this talk, is about being consistent, because as you consistently shift your thoughts, as you consistently use your affirmations to help you, think of it as, I'm in school and I'm going for a degree and I'm taking classes to get to graduation. And you never fully graduate because there are always opportunities for old triggers and negativity to happen. So you have to be consistent for life. But guess what? It gets easier and easier. And that's it gets easier and easier.
It does. And I think, you know, when you have a focus on something, when you know what you want and you're very clear about what you want, you can actually start moving in that direction. But if you're going between, oh, I think I want this, or I don't know if I want this, or I don't know if I want that, and you're just not getting to it, it's not going to happen. So if you stamp your feet going, well, why hasn't it happened? It's because you're not clear. And like, you know, that was a brilliant analogy to say, if you're going for a degree, there is steps to be taken, and you don't just appear and have a degree at the end of it. You've got to work in between towards that. You've got to take those steps forward, and you've got to consistently take those steps forward, because yes, you can go for a degree, but if you decided after 3 months, oh, I just can't be bothered with this and I want to go and do something else, then you're not going to get that degree. And if you went back to it, then you'd have to start from the beginning. So you've got to remember that if you're going to turn away from it, then you kind of got to go back to square one again and be able to start building those blocks again to get to where you need to get to. And it does happen. And it's not about the time. It's about how you feel every single day and what you're thinking daily. And if what you've been thinking so far has created what you've got today, then if you change how you think from today, then it will create what you've been thinking from here forth. So you've got to kind of look at it as what is going forward, not what's been behind you, because behind you is gone. We're done, we're dusted with that. And you know, you really do need to take a clean slate to say, well, what is it I want from today onwards? And what, if it's money, if it's wealth, how much do you want? Where are you going? You know, and when you're thinking about that money, are you thinking of it as I don't have, or are you thinking of it as what can I do to obtain that? What, you know, what business can I start, or what actions can I take, or what is it? And allow those thoughts to come to you, because like, look, with anything, this, I think I've said it many times before, but I'll say it again. You know, I'm sitting here and I've got a laptop in front of me. Now, this laptop started with somebody's thought. You know, the headphones I'm wearing started with somebody's thought. Everything starts with a thought. And they say an idea equals wealth if you move forward with it, if you continue with it, because every idea has its potential to become something. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the idea in the first place. It's whether you believe in what you're thinking, and it's whether you are excited about what you're thinking, or whether you just doubt yourself. And so many of us just doubt the process, and it's time to stop doubting that process and really know that you are part of this universe and you're here for a reason, and you work. It's the same as everybody else. If somebody's a multi-billionaire, that means that they're in a vibrational place where they can actually attract that, because the reason they attract that is because the thinking process, their thoughts have over time got to that stage, and they didn't just start off thinking as a billionaire because they might have been a billionaire from their family, but not through themselves. They had to get to that point. They got to build themselves. So it's their thought process too, right? It's the ideas they move forward with and the things that they do, the way they show up, the thoughts, the words that they speak. And if you're speaking of things as if it's not going to happen, then how would you expect it to happen? It's like getting on an aeroplane. It's like going for a flight and you say, oh, I just don't, the whole aeroplane, all the passengers on board are just saying, this flight's not going to take off, it's not going to take off. And every person's chanting that. Let's say there's 100 passengers and 100 passengers are chanting that the flight's not going to take off. And then they have an announcement, there's a problem with the aeroplane and we're not going to take off. And everyone goes, oh, I can't believe it. How can this happen? Well, you know, like you just spoke it into existence. And remember, more than one person is more energy towards something, which gives it more power. So the more people chant in the same thing, the more energy flow into that, and the quicker it becomes. So that's why it's always good to team up with people. It's always good to have a coach behind you that you can talk about these things and amplify the energy in the best way, in the positive way, not in a negative way. Let's stay away from the negative stuff and let's switch over to the positive and create the best for ourselves, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other part about this with the affirmations and the consistency is, how do you want to feel? Because the law of attraction is reading your feelings, your emotional energy. If you're feeling badly and you're focusing on what you don't want, it doesn't feel good. And this is the essence of the law of attraction is, the more happy you are, the more you feel good and find reasons to feel good, is what is going to attract to you what you want. And so we've said this before too, but it always bears repeating. If looking at your finances makes you feel bad, then it's not good to look at your finances. I'm not saying you don't, balance your checkbook or whatever, but I'm saying, what does having lots of money mean to you, and how does it feel? Is it freedom? Is it joy? And there's reasons why you want the money. And those things, it's not the money, it's the things that you can get with the money and the way you can live. And so you can feel good and secure and free and happy and full of life. And all of that is what the money represents. So instead of focusing on getting money, focus on free and secure and joy and
I
how
love
you
that,
want to
Christina.
live.
I love that. Yes, 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 all the way. Because if we're focusing, and that's what it's about, we're living now. We're not living yesterday or 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. Even what you've just said is now the past. Everything's gone. It's gone. So it's from here now. So if we're feeling a gap and it's missing from our lives, then how can you get something that's missing? It's going to be a much difficult process than actually feeling what it feels like to have it now, and moving forward with that feeling and feeling the joy of that, and actually spending that time with you to feel, what does it feel like, and what's the things I'm going to be doing, that freedom. What does freedom feel like? What does wealth feel like? What does riches feel like? What does it feel like to go and buy yourself a diamond ring? Like, what does it feel like to just go to any kind of car showroom and just pick up a car that you want? Go and test drive the cars. I used to do that all the time. I used to hire vehicles just because I love driving. So I love just testing all different cars. So I thought, well, what's the best way to do that? So I used to rent out cars for about 5 years, and I had so much fun doing it. And I got to drive so many different cars. And that feeling of being able to do that was a feeling of freedom. And that's when life opens up for you, because you're able to feel that and do that. And the more you feel it, the more inspiration comes to you to be able to take the action to do the things that aligns with that feeling. But it's no good saying, I will feel good when this happens, when that happens, because life is happening now. It's not happening yesterday. It's happening right now. Embrace the now, right? Take on the now. Love, laugh, enjoy right now. And things will happen.
Even if, I spend my time walking the dog or walking around my neighborhood and looking at the trees and the flowers and the sunshine. And I just think how wonderful to be free, how wonderful to walk around and have a dog by my side. And, like you can be grateful for sunshine, and that's enough. You can be grateful for anything. And the more you're grateful, the more you're feeling the good feelings, and the more the law of attraction is reading you, so to speak. Yeah. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that tomorrow you'll have millions of dollars. What it means is that you're going to build in your vortex of energy. You're going to turn it around from negative to positive, and eventually you're going to be 95% positive and 5% negative. And when you're 5% negative, you'll turn it into a positive. But you have to work up to that, because up until now, you've been, many people, I'm not saying you particularly who's listening, have been 95% negative and 5% positive. And Anthea, you were quoting Abraham, that if you have 99 things in your life going wrong and one going right, and you focus only on the 99, the one going right will turn out wrong. And if you have 99% things going wrong and one going right, and you focus on the one going right, the 99 will begin to turn around. So,
and that's interesting, isn't it?
It's powerful.
I mean, really take that in, guys. Like, you think about that. You've got 99 things going wrong and one thing going right. And if you focus on the one thing going right, the 99 other things will just turn around and become what you want them to be. I mean, that's power. That is, and so just find one thing in your life, just one. And I know you can find one thing that's going right. And if you say there's nothing going right, you're alive. That's it. Right. That's going right. You're alive.
You're alive. You have eyesight. You can breathe. You can taste. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You got hands. I'm sure you got a mobile phone to use. I'm sure.
Because you're listening to this right now or watching the replay, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to ask people to put pound replay if they're watching the replay. And what did you get from this video? And if you're watching live right now, I hope you'll comment and say, what did this help you today? We are going to continue on our wealth series next week. And we also have a very big surprise announcement coming up that we'll be doing within the next couple days. We've been posting about it, and it's going to offer you even more help and kind of an on-ramp to whoosh you into a new way of thinking and get the support that you need. So we're excited.
And I've got a comment here from Angeline. I just wanted to read it out. What is going on when you are absolutely being positive, changing your inner voices, meditating, putting your intentions out there daily, and doing what's within your power to take action to those results, and constantly things are going wrong that are out of your control, i.e. multiple big items all seem to break or happen all within a few days, like a avalanche of negative. That's what's happening to me, she said. And again, that is, yes, it's about the fact that you are aware of the things going wrong. Your focus is actually on the things going wrong. So you think that you're on the positive side of things, but by even stating it and writing it down and giving it energy and power by speaking about it, because it's your reality, then you're going to say to me, well, how do you ignore that? Because it's happened, and obviously it's happened, but you can find something that's good out of that situation and focus on that. So whatever's broken down, find a reason to why you can flip that into something good happening. Well, actually, I can get something new from this. Or you might meet somebody, the person who's coming to fix the appliances. There could be something that comes from that. There's a reason for everything. And I think if you can focus on the goodness of what's happened and just forget this has happened now, it's gone, it's done, it's dusted, or you might still need things fixing, but just start to look at what is it that you can get from this actual situation that's happened, and start writing down what you can focus on that's good and appreciate in your life. And like Dr. Christina said earlier on, it's not going to happen overnight. You're still going to have things happen. However, you've got to be able to not put your focus onto those things and be able to switch your focus onto what is going right. And the more you focus on what's going right, the it over time, and it won't take that long. It could be 7 days, 10 days. It just depends on how much attention you're putting to the things that are not happening or not working out. It really is about being super duper aware. You've really got to put your time and energy into you. And it's not, there's nothing better in this world than to think about yourself and how you're thinking and how you're showing up and where your focus is going, because that's where the change will happen. Otherwise, we end up in a victim mentality where we're continuously pointing the fingers and blaming other people and saying, why me? So flip that over, because you have the power to change any situation by focusing on on something that's working rather than things are not working. I hope that's helpful.
Well, I want to say, Angeline, that whatever is happening that you don't want is a result of a vibration you've been carrying a lot of your life. So as Abraham says, what's showing up now is a result of a vibration that you've had for a long time. You created it, okay? But you are now in the process of shifting that. So you are consistently working to change the direction of your vortex. And that is the key. It doesn't, like Anthea said, it doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. It doesn't mean that you're immediately going to fix everything. It is all about consistency and focus, and allowing yourself to really, really know that you are on the right path, really trusting that you are on the right path, and give yourself a lot of compassion and love and a lot of, just really be gentle on yourself and know that you're doing everything you can, and you can do even more as to the things that we've talked about. But what you're experiencing now is not a result of the shift that you've been trying to make. It's a result of where you were
before, and it's continuous. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lag time. Here's all the negativity from when you were born to where you are now. Okay. Yeah. And here is the positive, and you're moving that forward. So pretty soon the new vibration is going to set in. Yes. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, and that was brilliantly said. And also what just came to my mind that I just wanted to say quickly, Dr. Joe Vitale again had said, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So it's not your fault these things are happening, because you know, even though you might have become aware of late, like Dr. Christina just said, this is a momentum of a long time. So the things are still coming in, because you got to remember, we get everything we've thought about. I say everything. I mean, the things that you
put a lot of emotional energy and thought into.
Yeah, they've come around, and they're still to come around. But the more you continue doing what you're doing, continue meditating. And remember, when you meditate, you're heightening your vibration. So you're opening up to all energies. So these things will start coming in. Sometimes there's a crash before everything smooths out. There's things that are coming in, but you've just got to stay above that. Keep yourself in the best possible way and just look at it. And it's like kind of like a test in a sense as well, testing yourself. It's not like someone's coming along and testing you, but you're testing yourself, and you're testing your own focus ability to be able to go past that and actually be like, well, actually, this is a result of my previous vibration. So this is what it is. It's not my fault because I didn't know any better. Now that I know better, it is my responsibility to keep this going. It is my responsibility to become aware, to stay aware, to meditate, to be thankful, to be appreciative, to have a gratitude, to look at the things and be able to take the light out of each darkness. And I promise you, eventually, and I say eventually because I can't give you a time on how it goes for each person. I don't know that. However, for some people, it happens very quickly because they don't have that. They might have had a life of more, like 70% positive, and their thought process is in a different place. So you just got to work with you. You know where you've been. You know your inside out of your life more than anybody else knows that. So you just got to know from, if you be consistent, you was consistent like that, and this is a result of that. If you're consistent with being positive and meditating and thankfulness, then there's going to be an outcome to that, and you're going to be living that at some point, and you will see evidence of it throughout your day. You just got to take note, and that's where the awareness kicks in. Be very aware of all the things that actually work out for you and focus on them. Just keep focusing on those little things that you think is like, even if, like, I know when I drive around, very often that I'm going through green lights, it's not very often I stop at a red light, because I expect that. I just expect to be in green lights now. And because I was noticing that I am going through the green lights, I'm doing that more and more and more, which is just a result of my thinking process, right? And that's just what everything is as a result of how you think, how you feel, the words you speak, the way you show up, your attitude, your mindset, just every part of you. There's an overall awareness that you do not give up on yourself with, because you will be reaping the rewards of what your work that you're doing right now. And
there you go. There you go. And with that, people, we hope this has really helped you today. And again, if you're watching the replay, please put #replay and make a comment as to any insights you got or how this helped you. Remember that we will be making a big announcement in the next couple days for a free event that's going to give you an on-ramp to up level everything, and we're very excited about it.
So excited.
Oh my gosh, I wish we could tell you right now, but anyway, we're getting it ready for you, and we know you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So we thank you so much for joining us. If you did join us live, and if you're watching the replay, thank you so much, and we will see you next week on our next live.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.